Welcome back to Glamour Unfiltered, hosted by me, Josh Smith. And today we are joined by the queen of badassery. It's Maisie Williams! Getting those vibes going!
Ah, it's a party.
It's a party. And do you know what is a party? 2 weeks to live is a party.
It is.
Well, you've literally gone from slaying mythical people to then literally slaying people IRL on this show, but again, in a very niche way.
Yeah, it is. There are definite similarities, which is what I was so drawn to. But yeah, it was just like tonally a lot more fun and like a lot more lighthearted and not so much trauma and more laughter.
What do you think you've learned about yourself through playing this role?
I guess like Kim really sees just like the truth in everything and sees things for what they are, and is almost like very childlike in that sense. And I am the queen of overthinking everything. And to play someone and to like just work through a scene playing someone who just reads things for what they are and doesn't think twice, that was really was just really freeing. Just shut your brain up and do the scene and have some like quiet within yourself and just like watch other people and like feed off of them and like get outside of your head and just like be in the room. And I think like that is like a great lesson for me, and I hadn't thought about it until you asked me that question, that maybe I should be doing a little bit more of that in my life.
You've always tended to end up on jobs where there's this amazing camaraderie, right? This amazing teamwork. Like you have this, it's not even just a sisterhood, it's a brotherhood, it's a peoplehood. How much has that teamwork helped you at different times in your career? So a time you can remember teamwork really bringing you through and picking you up?
Honestly, like the most common time is on a film set. I think that these people see like the best and worst of you because you're just with each other constantly. I do get a lot of energy from other people, and I do really rely on other people to like pick me up because I'm really not good at doing that myself. And so when I can get on a set and really get on with people, it will always make me do a better job, because I have done a couple of things where I haven't got on as well with people, and when I watch the film I can see it and I'm like, oh, I can see that I couldn't do it as well because I feed off other people so much.
I think as well this character has this weird upbringing. She's a survivalist, she's been protected from reality, right? And she's looking in from the outside. Have you ever felt in your life a bit of an outsider looking in?
Yeah, all the time. Because like at school, I wasn't in like the cool group, and as much as I was like, I don't really want to be in the cool group, I really wanted to be part of the cool group. But I never really knew how to go about it, and I always went about it in the wrong ways. And I was like, when I was insecure, instead of being friendly, I was like the opposite, where I would like put up barriers and things like that. And I think that's quite common for a lot of people. And so then when I started acting, all of a sudden this caught the attention of people, and they were like, what's this girl doing here who we don't know? How is she an actress, you know? But then I ended up being an outsider because even though I was inside the acting world, I was even further outside of like the reality world that I lived every single day. And because I'd never trained to be an actor, or because I started when I was really young, I didn't really feel like I was in the acting crowd. I didn't really have acting friends or anything like that. And so I've definitely felt like an outsider so much. And I think even, you know, being an actress for over a decade now, like I still always feel like, I guess it's like imposter syndrome, right? Where you're like, oh, is this really what I'm supposed to be doing? Like, am I actually gonna do this for the rest of my life? And so I think it's like, with so many people, you just always feel, yeah. And I think that's just like the human brain, to be honest with you. Maybe I should just stop overthinking everything and start just doing like you, right? Going out and having the dinners, having the brunches. But instead I'm sitting in my bed like, maybe no one wants me. Maybe I shouldn't go out. Maybe I shouldn't leave the house. So yeah, it is what it is.
How have you dealt with that insecurity and learned to kind of park it at certain times?
I think it's just trying to spend, just at the moment I'm in it, right? That Haim song, Now I'm in It, that's really speaking to me, because I really am in that right now. And I think just listening to yourself, and I think that that's the hardest thing to do, is like truly know who you are. And you know, as an actor or as any person of influence, like you do these interviews, right, and people want to know your opinion on everything. And I think like admitting that I don't have an opinion on everything, because I don't know everything about everything, and I'm still trying to figure out what really interests me and what doesn't. And I think just being able to like admit that and like own that I don't know everything. That's what I'm trying to do.
For sure. So next topic of conversation is Trump. So I really want to get your opinion on that. But I think this is also a really interesting coming of age story, isn't it?
Absolutely. Yeah.
When do you feel like you had that turning point for you, that coming of age moment? I mean, it's always ongoing, isn't it? But is there a time you were like, wow, this feels like a turning point?
I moved out when I was really young and I was quite alone. But then by the time I turned sort of like 18, 19, everyone else had like sort of moved out and gone to uni and things like that. And I got this group of friends who are still my friends now. And we would just go out all the time. And I lived in Bath at the time. And we would just party every weekend and go out, and it would just be the same thing. And then on the Sunday we'd go for some brunch, and then everyone would go back to work, and then like on the next weekend we'd do it all over again. And it was like the perfect summer, and we go to all these music festivals. And that was a time when like finally I felt like I was doing something that people like that other people were doing my age, and I felt like normal for the first time, you know, like I fitted somewhere. And I guess, yeah, that was just like a really amazing moment for me, because I just, as we said, like I'd always felt like I was outside looking in, you know, and like for the first time I was like, oh, I belong with these people, and I feel like a normal person, and I felt just like I was thriving, and it was excellent.
That kind of sense of belonging is the greatest gift of all, though, isn't it? When you feel like you're really in it, you feel accepted, and then you then get to accept yourself, right?
Absolutely. And it's just like amazing, because all of these things that didn't make sense before, and all of these like questions that you are asking, they just all float away, and you're like, oh, this is all I wanted and all I needed.
What did you used to ask yourself like that?
Oh gosh, this is like very, very deep.
Getting into hard.
I don't know. You just ask yourself, why am I an actress? Why me? Why did this happen to me? What is it about me that's interesting? And okay, so if it's this, this, and this, why do I not think that's very cool? And what do I think is cool in other people? And why do I always think the grass is greener? And yeah, it's just like big first world problems, honestly.
And one of the things that I love about this as well is the combat scenes. You know, you're rolling around on that floor. You love a combat scene. Obviously, everyone knows this about you. But does that level of strength that it takes to do that give you more faith in your body and your strength as a person outside of work as well?
I suppose it really does, because I think like so many people, I struggle to do exercise. And because I can't run for very far, or I can't, you know, do these things, or I feel like I can't, I always think that I'm like weak and like, oh, I can't do it. And like, I think that reflects on like something on the inside, you know, because I can't run a marathon, which is like not a big deal, you know. I don't know, when I'm doing something like that, I really can do it, and I can thrive, and I'll do it until 6 a.m, or like however long it takes. And so I guess it's just like, you've just got to find what fits, haven't you? And like for me, it's these elaborate combat scenes in film.
Like, I must take this role because I need the workout.
For the first time in 2 years, I will actually be doing some physical exercise.
Yeah. And I guess as well, it makes you have a greater faith in your body image as well, because you're like, this is a strong machine.
Yeah, exactly. This is a good look. This is something that people should aspire to. Like, this is good. This is a good image. This is a good thing to be putting out to the world. And yeah, this is what should inspire people.
Yeah. That's what we're about. All about the inspiration, the high kicks, the punches, the slaying. You know how it is. Was there a time when you were doing the stunts on set for this show where it went a little bit wrong?
Yeah. There's this bit. So there's a lot of bottle throwing, right? There's like a bougie kind of like sleazy bar in the basement of this guy's house. And so there's like bottles of booze everywhere. And so they come out and they're being thrown. And I think I got like 3 or 4 bottles on the head, and I was really sad about it. But when you're on a film set, you don't want to cry like a child, like someone hit me on the head. But it's like late, you know, and emotions are running high. But I was like, I'm not gonna cry because like it doesn't solve anything. But then the night after, there's the high kicks to the chest, and I really did clip Jimmy's, what do you call it, like a grill in, right, gold teeth, and I just clipped his face. Sean's like, yeah, and I think his mouth ended up bleeding, and so then we were even, and it was fine, and he didn't cry, so I was like, oh, I'm glad I didn't cry.
Maisie, you're a bit of a menace.
Yeah, it's a dangerous world.
You've been so lucky to have an amazing decade of a career already at this young age, and you've already had amazing success. Does the success you've had give you less or more pressure going forward?
I don't know about less or more pressure. It makes me so much more, I guess, just like opinionated. And like I just criticize everything. I love everything that everyone else does, and then anything that I do, I'm like, but was that really good, or was it really right? Or, you know, at the time I was like, yes, this is the decision that I should be making, and then when it's coming out, I'm like, oh gosh, was it right? You know, is this how I want to be seen? And I think that's just my own pressure on myself, really. Do I want to be like in these kind of movies, and like, you know, I've watched a lot of young actors and then sort of watched the career after their breakout role, and actually the ones that I really idolize are the ones where people are like, whatever happened to them, you know? And actually I think that they've been doing really great movies, but they're just maybe not seen by like a lot of people, but they're clearly doing something that they really love. And so I've wanted to go more down that route, and so I know that that's never really going to be like, people are never going to see that as success in their eyes, because they saw me on the biggest show on TV that there ever was, and so like, how are you ever going to go up from that? And like, for me, it's not really about going up from there, it's about like exploring this whole world that I haven't had the opportunity to. Yeah,
and doing it on your own path, like that's like a very strong message and realization to have, because not, you know, like, to take control of your own destiny in that situation is kind of amazing, isn't it?
Yeah, definitely. I think that there's just like, so there, you know, it's amazing to get to this point in my career, because there's so many people that are like, what do you want to do? Like, what is it that you want? And like, you know, if you've never asked yourself that question, then it's really hard to tell people. And so, you know, for me, it's just been figuring out what that is. And I'm so lucky that I have these people that can enable me to do things. And yeah, but you know, answering that question is like half of the battle, I think.
It is. And if you could sit the you that was starting off on Game of Thrones on this Zoom call, she was dialing into your house, I'm her. New look for me. What would you want to say to her, and what do you think she should say to you?
I would want her to just like enjoy being a kid and just like do all of this other fun stuff, and just like I just wanted to allow myself to be more free. I used to be just so neurotic and overthink everything. And I guess she would probably say to me, that you don't know anything and shut up. You don't know me.
You don't know me. She's sassy, isn't she?
Yeah, she was. She was just like, I don't know, had a lot of emotions.
Emotions. Like Destiny Child emotions, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
That's,
Yeah.
I love speaking to you. I think you're great.
Thank you. I love speaking with you too. This has been really fun.